All right. Looks like we're live.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Oddly enough, there we go. And what was odd is I wasn't seeing that we were live. Anyway, hi everybody. You're probably wondering where I am. I'm down in my basement. It's set up a little bit of a studio. I still got some work to do on it because, like the camera, I think needs to be a little bit higher so you guys don't get nostril cam. But other than that, anyway, I'm Steve Sande. This is Mr. Marty Edwards, my sidekick. How you doing, Marty?
Doing well. Doing quite well. Sort of a slow week of Apple news with Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S., but
Yeah,
still
it's
some
been
nonetheless. Yeah.
it has been amazingly quiet out there, but sometimes that's a good thing. I think maybe everybody except the people who are trying to get us all excited about the latest and greatest. Uh, oh, hold on a second. I'm looking at our cat. Don't even think about it. We have a sump pump down here in the basement, which does not have a brick wall, by the way. But anyway, and she's like wandering around the cupboard, and I'm afraid she's going to go right in there. So if I suddenly jump up, you'll know what's going on. Anyway, we have all these people who've been sending us all sorts of stuff on Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. And I'm really tired of seeing those, but what can I say?
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, I even put a couple of them in the whatever the heck you call it, the AWT news update today. Got them out there because there were some pretty interesting things. One of them was, remember at WWDC 2017 when Apple told developers about that kind of like accelerated graphics box that they could get from Sonnet for $599. Right. Well, Sonnet's now selling them to anybody, not and you can still be a developer, I guess, if you want one. But they're selling them right now for $499. So if you happen to have a device that has Thunderbolt 3 and you really want to do some fun stuff, either with gaming or something like that, you can get one of these boxes. It comes with a really nice graphics card, basically perfect for gaming or anything else you want to do. So good stuff. So that was one of the big deals today. So you can go out to Sonnet, SONNET.com, and you might be able to find something out there. You still there?
Yeah, I am. I was thinking about I was actually thinking about that I enjoy using the Mac, but I enjoy gaming too. So if the iMac Pro darkens my doorstep someday, I'm sure it'll handle what gaming I want, but I know it has the option of I can use an external graphics card with a Thunderbolt 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the kind of the cool things. I really wish that Apple and some of the other developers, I mean, not developers, but manufacturers, would make more of a deal out of that, it really is kind of an add-on there. Even if you don't have a device that necessarily has the graphics power, you can always just get one of these Thunderbolt 3 boxes, you plug it in, and boom, all of a sudden, whatever graphics card you happen to have is there and running. So pretty good stuff. I'm just sorry about that. I'm looking at our other screen here. There we are. Good. Finally got it working properly. So I have a iPad Pro sitting over here and my MacBook here. So speaking of iMacs, you still thinking about getting the iMac Pro?
Well, I certainly won't get anything until it's out. I'll say it. I want to see a little bit more about it. It is rather pricey, but like I said, now I'm actually doing this broadcast on a Mac Mini, but my main gaming computer that I hand built, which is a Windows computer, is a little over 10 years old now. So, in dog years and computer years, that's pretty old. And so I'm in the market for a pretty robust machine. And I realize it won't, be probably the best gaming machine, but my gaming needs are relatively minor, mainly World of Warcraft. But I like virtual machines, and I know that the iMac Pro will probably absolutely plow through those. Standard with 32 gig of RAM and 8-core Xeon. So I am giving it thought, and my wife definitely thinks I should buy it. So what more could you ask for?
Yeah, well, you have to follow the rules.
Yeah. And that is, if anyone listened a couple of weeks ago, that's why I do not have the iPhone 10. She said, well, why don't you save that $1,000 and put it toward the iMac Pro? I thought that's a great idea. But, I'll be honest.
Brilliant idea.
Of course, it had been prorated, but, I actually did the math. If I got the iPhone 10, I want the 256 gig. That's what I have now. And, of course, that's actually $1,149. And if I got the protection, it's $200. So that brings it up to $1,349. Plus, I got sales tax on the phone, which was a little over, it was about close to $70. When I added it all up, it was $1,469 to buy the phone. That's a lot when my phone is working perfectly. Now, I don't want to be a negative Nelly or something here, but I'll be honest, it's just hard for me to pull the trigger on that when I absolutely love the iPhone I got, the 7 Plus. And I know you and Dennis both have the 10 and love them. I've watched a lot of videos of speed tests. It's not a quantum leap above the 7 Plus. It's more the screen. If you're looking for performance, you're not going to find that much. And I know the people have it, love it, and I know that I would too. But we really are talking literally $1,500. That is an iMac if you want a basic iMac.
Well, that's also I think right about the price of probably the cheapest 13-inch MacBook Pro you can buy. I think is right in that range, somewhere around there. So pretty amazing and pricey. Like I said, if I hadn't been going with the Apple iPhone upgrade program over the past couple of years, there's no way. I mean, I would not have spent the money, the $1,500. As it is, I know over a 1-year period, I'll spend about half that amount. But to be honest with you, about, whatever it ends up being, I think it was like $46 a month or something like that I'll end up paying. That is so much easier to swallow than looking at, $1,500.
Right.
There's no way I would have done that.
No, and I just can't, even paying, and I could prorate it out and do the same, pay for half of it. Pardon me, but when the year is over, I have to turn it in and I have nothing to show for it. You're just leasing your phone, which is fine, if you want to stay in the lease program. But if I keep this one, this is the 7 Plus with jet black with 256. Come May, it'll be full ownership, and I can probably sell it for $400 to $500. Put it toward the next phone. So anyway, we'll see. I would enjoy the new phone, but this year I couldn't do it. It's not the first time I've skipped an upgrade. And I'll tell you one thing that I saw this week, and I'm sure you did too, that makes me want to think about waiting a little bit. Looks like Apple may be investing more stateside in micro LED technology.
Yes, I saw that. And absolutely fascinating, because apparently they've had a research lab somewhere in Taiwan that's been kind of working on this. And they had made, I think, 2 acquisitions over the past couple of years that were really involved in micro LED technology. So, who knows if they move the production of those micro LED displays to the US and end up, somehow, some way being able to come up with a wonderful screen that uses even less power than it does right now.
Right.
I think everybody's going to be much, much happier.
Well, you know that everything I read about micro LED, it's brighter, uses less energy, and it's thinner. And I think that is the future for iPhones. I don't think it's going to be next year, maybe 2020 or something. But
Yeah.
when that comes, that will be the display of the future. I think OLED is just a stopgap measure to
Yeah.
bridge them between LCD and micro LED.
Oh, and Richard was asking, Richard Doomer is in the chat room there, and he was asking, can you explain about micro LED? And I was going to just pull something up here real quick that I thought was, see if I can find that guy again. Excuse me. Yeah, basically, what they talk about with micro LED is it's a emerging flat panel display technology. It's arrays of microscopic LEDs forming the individual pixel elements. Right now, of course, for the most part, you know, a lot of older technology like our screens we have on MacBooks and some of the other items, they use LCD technology with a backlight. Organic LEDs and MLED are somewhat similar, but it says MLED, micro LED, is based on conventional gallium nitrate, I guess, or gallium nitride LED technology, which offers far higher total brightness than OLED products, as much as 30 times.
Wow.
So, and it also doesn't suffer from shorter lifetimes of OLEDs. It says that's really not an issue anymore. But so as of 2017, nobody has mass produced these devices. So pretty, pretty good thing here. Oh, okay. So he's saying it's Richard Dummer, not Doomer. Okay, thank you. Not ooh. It's like Sandy. I get sand all the time, so it's like E on the end. Anyway, so that's all about micro LED. It's kind of interesting to find out because I really, to be honest with you, didn't know too much about what the difference was. So
Yeah, they're just
thanks for
microscopic
asking the question.
LEDs, like you would see the power indicator on your monitor or something, except it's going to be microscopic, like the end of a hair or something, you know, or maybe even smaller, and have millions
Atom
of them on
sized.
there. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll end up with something that'll be like, you know, we can't really tell you how many pixels we have on your display because we don't know.
All right. And as far as I know, it doesn't suffer from burn in or any of the problems of organic LED. So I think it's going to be the future, but we're probably talking 3 years or more. But, you know, I look forward to it. That was good news today.
Well, and speaking of good news today, I have to toot my own horn. I got my FAA remote, well, it's called a UAG exam that you take, which stands for Unmanned Aircraft General. Passed the exam with a 95 today, so I'm happy.
Congratulations.
So I can now do commercial work with a drone. I still don't have the drone I'm going to be using.
All dressed up, no place to go.
Well, I think I kind of mentioned, you know, I really do kind of want to wait until after CES 2018, you know, which will be like the first week of January, not too far off. But I really do kind of want to wait until that time to get the bigger drone that I'm going to get, because chances are really good that DJI is going to come out and say, guess what we have? The new Phantom 5, or, you know, they're going to have some impressive new product that's going to immediately make everything else seem kind of cheesy by comparison. So that's why I'm waiting.
Yeah, so like what will that permit you to do? You said you can do commercial work.
Well, right now, if you go out and you just want to fly a drone, you know, for a while there, if it was between 0.55 pounds and just below 55 pounds, you needed to get that thing registered, even if you were going to fly it just as a for recreational purposes. Well, that got kicked down in the courts. But for commercial purposes, they want people who have, I mean, if you're going to charge for your services, going out doing videography from the air, doing aerial mapping, things like that, they want people who know how to fly these things in what, most likely you're going to get into a situation where you're going to have to fly near an airport. So they want you to know all the rules that deal with controlled airspace. They want you to know about things like crew resource management, being able to, if you've got more than one person who's acting as your eyes while you're doing a big flight, how you contact each other on the radio, how you talk to the tower if you happen to be near an airport. So it's a pretty detailed exam. I won't say it's the hardest thing in the world. If I could pass it, I think anybody can. But like I said, I'm kind of looking at doing some commercial drone photography and aerial mapping down the road. And I knew that was a piece, and I said, what the heck, get it out of the way and get it done. So yay, got that finished. Don't have to worry about that.
So you're looking toward maybe a drone next year sometime.
Yeah, I've got some small drones right now. Pretty much what I'm using those for is just practice flying. And of course, we had one episode where I was showing the flight simulator app. And that's a good way to, kind of get up your skills as well, build up hours without crashing, possibly crashing a drone or doing something like that. I do want to tell our viewers about one really interesting deal. If you're looking at a small drone just to kind of get into it, something that would be strictly recreational because it's got very limited control range because you're just using your iPhone, in most cases. You can get a little thing, a little controller for it with extra antenna and extra range, but that's the DJI Spark. It's a little tiny drone. It's about yay big, but it's pretty impressive, and you can, have it take off and land from your hand if you want to. It does a lot with gestures. You can wave at it, and it'll, come back and land in your hand, do different things like that. The other cool thing about that is it uses the same app, DJI Go 4, that you use on some of the larger commercial drones. So if you want to start off small and kind of, move up down the road, that's a really good path. You're going to be using the same app to control whatever device you happen to fly. So, but anyway, the comment I was going to make, it's you can get them at DJI.com starting tomorrow and through the 27th of November for $399, which is about $100 cheaper than normal, but that's not a bad idea. Like I said, if you're thinking about getting into that, a lot of people fly DJI drones for commercial usage. At least it's a good way to get into the ecosystem.
Well, that's quite interesting. Probably not something that I'll ever get into, though. You never know. What
you could round up your cats with it.
Yeah, we live out in the country here on the farm, and plenty of room to fly, but probably not as much for commercial activity. But we do live in a rural area and farming area, and I saw our county seat had a promo for the town for tourism, and a drone had videoed around town and the county some. So.
Yeah, and there are things like a lot of people are getting into doing real estate, where somebody's got a house that is out on a piece of land, and you want to really kind of make it look great. So they'll go in and they'll do a fly around. I've even heard of some people doing fly arounds. Somebody will be standing just inside the house. They'll actually fly it into the door. Person goes out, grabs the back of the drone as soon as the props shut down, and then they hand carry it throughout the building to get an interior shot. So To be honest with you, I think it'd probably be a lot safer to just edit,
Yeah.
kind of do handheld otherwise. But anyway, enough of drones. Let's talk about Apples again. I've got drones on the brain today. So,
Well, that's all right. I'm trying to think if there's any other big, well, not too much Apple news um, going on. I did see something a while ago. Let me pull that back up where that I thought it'd be worthwhile to mention tonight because there seemed to be some late breaking news. Yeah, they think now the 2018 iPhone is going to have enhanced LTE, maybe support up to 5G, but going to have more
wow.
LTE antennas and support 4x4 MIMO, which is multiple input and multiple out. So that's some pretty late news that has just been posted on some competing sites.
Shame on them for doing
Yeah.
that. I was too busy eating dinner.
Yeah. So I just saw that a while ago.
One of the other big items out here that I think a lot of people were totally shocked about was that the HomePods aren't going to be out before Christmas. HomePods will actually come out sometime in early 2018. I don't know what the problem is, but we also found out from a couple of websites that apparently this entire thing with Alexa and the Amazon Echo really took Apple by surprise. And the HomePod was something they were looking at as strictly a speaker product. One of the Bloomberg comments that came out, they think they're going to sell like 4 million of these things next year. But one of their comments was they said Siri almost seems like an afterthought on this product. So Apple may have to up its game on the HomePod if they really want to sell a lot of them.
Yeah. And the way it was talking, it's going to be really limited in its abilities. It'll just go through the iPhone and do iPhone things. Not
Yeah.
really open system like say the Google Home, what they call that. I think Google Home is. It's very open ended. You can pretty much ask it anything, make calls or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And of course, I've made no secret on this show, and other websites do too. I enjoy Apple products, but Siri cannot compete with Google Voice. And I mean, that's
Absolutely.
just a fact. And if anyone's interested, I think the video we did on October 17th, I think it's at the 29-minute mark. I did a demo. The reason I know that I shared that with some others. There's no comparison between the two, but it's a trade-off. Google knows more about you, less privacy to be able to have that really deep ingrained conversation back and forth, whereas Apple does most of its stuff on phone. And so as long as the Apple ethos is, privacy above all, they'll never compete with the others. And, it's a trade-off. Which one do you want?
Richard was just saying, and I think that probably autocorrect got you there. I'm guessing he's saying the Sonos Play One. It says Songs Play One. Amazon has it for $149. I'm guessing that's the Sonos box, but that's a pretty incredible price. Yeah, that's one good thing about this time of year is everybody's trying to sell as much product as they possibly can. So you really can get some incredible bargains on stuff.
Well, you can. I am impressed with the Google Voice. I have an Android phone over here too without a SIM card in it, but I can use it like the Google Home. I can just speak to it if I want to. But
Yeah.
they're small little Google Home that more like hockey puck one. It's $49. Pardon me, but I saw it today, and I think it was a mistake. They let it out early that Lowe's is going to have
Whoops.
it for $29.
Wow.
That's unbelievable because it does the exact same thing as their $199 product does, except it's a smaller speaker. The big one's really to play music. If you want something just to command around the house, buy about 3 or 4 of those, put them in different rooms, and they all work together. And so I did read on the Bloomberg site, it said that whenever Alexa and the others demonstrate what they can do, they said Apple was totally caught off guard. They were really far behind with it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
it's interesting. I've even commented on the Alexa devices. They're, I've got the Amazon Echo. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it is the hockey puck size one that they have. Echo Dot. That's it.
yeah, Dot.
And I've had that now for a year, because it was one of those things that I saw a Black Friday deal, and at that time, I think they were selling it for like $35, and I jumped on it. And more than anything, I was just kind of curious how it works. Come to find out, it works pretty good. I don't like the fact that it has to, listen to me all the time and is constantly sending that information to Amazon for processing. That's one of the things I really love about Siri, is that the voice recognition is all done locally. If you ask a question, then it sends it, the request out for the information and returns it very quickly, rather than listening to everything you say and waiting for you to say Alexa, can you, here's
Right.
that. And then it finally allegedly wakes up. I have a feeling they're probably listening to speech patterns, comments you may make about products. I've already heard, and who knows if they're rumors or not, but I've heard comments from people who say, it's funny, we were talking about certain products, or, getting a new TV or something like that. And all of a sudden, we started getting a lot of Amazon emails about TVs. And it's almost as if they are listening in on those conversations electronically and having some algorithm pull out keywords and say, send them an email. They're interested.
Right. Yeah, that's the trade-off. You get a lot more accuracy with the ones that listen all the time, but a lot less privacy. So you have to choose what's best for you.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Apple will ever catch up with Google in artificial intelligence because of their interest in privacy, which is not a bad thing. Google is saying that the Google, I don't know, the Google I/O, which is their version of WWDC, that their product now is artificial intelligence. It's not even hardware, software. It's tying it all together with that. And you can tell it shows, because sometimes I'm a little stunned at that how it recognizes my voice. I do have a bit of an accent, and that it will correct things. Well, you saw on our show, and I know we got some listening, I referred to Siri and Google Voice, but the Google Voice heard me say Sherry, the woman's name. But when it heard me say Google Voice, it went way back up in the text, corrected it to Siri, because it read the whole context and corrected it well after the fact, which is amazing. It's a lot of number crunching going on there. And if anybody's interested, you can install Google Assistant, and I may even show that, because I think since our last broadcast, I have Google Assistant installed on the iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to admit, I use it too. And the reason being that for a lot of directions, I get, unless you have kind of done some, pre-work. And what I mean by that, let's say you're planning on going to Phoenix, Arizona. And so you've been looking up things like maps of Phoenix, restaurants, different things like that. If you ask Siri at some point, to find such and such in that particular town, chances are you're going to get a completely wrong answer. And one thing I have noticed is Siri does tend to build a lot on what you have, maybe places you've gone before, places you have searched in maps prior to that, different items like that. Yeah, Richard has made a couple comments here too, talking about some of these devices. It says the Amazon Tap, which is another model. That one is one that you actually have to tap on the top of it before it responds, so it's not listening to you all the time. That's great if you're a person who's concerned about privacy. But he also brings up a great point. Siri right now works really, really well with Philips Hue, and a lot of the I still have a ton of HomeKit items, around the house. In fact, I'm about to set up my Christmas lights here pretty quick. And all of that's controlled with good old Siri. I found that the mechanical timers I used in the past just weren't, accurate enough. I couldn't do certain things. I couldn't turn on the lights remotely, just by saying, hey, turn on the Christmas lights. Now with Siri, if it happens to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it's getting dark out because we're getting a snowstorm, I can at least say, hey, Siri, turn on the lights, and it's going to go ahead and do that.
Well, one of the interesting things I noted, I did a test the other day, and I actually have it recorded if I ever wanted to use it or demonstrate it, was we were having a thunderstorm watch going on last Saturday. It got up to like 70 degrees and the watch was going on. So I asked Siri, I said, like, what's the weather tomorrow? It told me, it says, looking good, 55. And that was it. Showed me a card that I have to physically read. Sometimes it'll just show you something. But I did ask Google Assistant. I said, what's the weather tomorrow? It gave me the weather, said, looking good, high so-and-so. And then it said, there's also a thunderstorm watch for your area right now. It interjected very vital information that I didn't have to look at. It just told me, and Siri never adds extra. It just pretty well pre-canned. And I don't want to sound like a Siri basher or anything, but it is amazing the difference,
And I just noticed Paul Gans is in the chat room now, joining Richard. So, hi, Paul. Let me type that in there. But
I can't see this chat room, so y'all can make any comments against me that you want to. Where'd you find this guy? Because I can't see him.
Where'd you dig up this guy? Well, actually, Richard says that. Where was it? He says, "I'm kind of Marty's neighbor, just the other end of the state."
I'm in Kentucky.
So he's somewhere in your neighborhood, if your neighborhood is a state.
Yeah. Oh, it is Kentucky. Everybody's neighbors.
This is a good thing.
That's right. So, well, good. I'm glad he's listening tonight, and Richard and Paul as well. So we know we got a few viewers. Oh, before I forget, did you see the big news? And we can touch on this in a minute. Looks like the FCC is going to overturn net neutrality, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, which I don't know. I kind of almost see both sides on it. The one scary part is that you can have your cable companies decide, well, if you want to get, you want to use something like Facebook, you're going to have to pay extra for Facebook service.
Right.
Otherwise we're going to throttle it and your, life is going to suck for you. If you want to do live streaming on YouTube, you're going to have to pay extra to be able to do that. That's what people think is going to happen. I think if it does start happening, there's going to be a widespread revolt. People will just, people are already dumping on the FCC, the head commissioner there, Amit Pal, is saying, why are you overturning this? It's, actually worked pretty darn good since, when was it? The late 1990s?
96, I think.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw that in because that was some news of the day.
Paul's horrible. He said, everybody's related in Kentucky. Ooh.
Well, pretty much around. Everybody is a cousin, in the rural areas.
By the way, like I said, you guys aren't going to see much more of this. I've been doing this for what they call I want to call it No Mo, but they call it Movember, which originally was for mustaches only. But somebody changed the name to No Shave November. And I kind of like that. And I wanted to just see how bushy this thing could get over, a month and a half or so. I've proven it. It makes me look older. I want to get rid of it. So probably the next time you see me, it'll be trimmed back to the little beard here, which will be really nice. Oh, man, some of the comments here. Paul says, why was Kentucky made a state? To make West Virginia look good.
Yeah, they're hitting on me there.
Hey, we do jokes about Nebraska and Kansas here. So there's one famous uh, joke that I remember from college days. So this is like late 1970s, but people used to say, "Do you know why the wind is always so strong in the state of Wyoming? Because Nebraska sucks." And it was.
Yeah. And for our viewers there, nothing bothers me. So.
Yeah, I'm too old to be bothered about a lot.
I am too. I've done past that a long time ago.
Yeah. Anymore, you just kind of go, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I'm at the point more thinking about Social Security and things. And so.
Yeah. Speaking of which, my wife that's the reason we didn't have a show last week, in case anybody's wondering. My wife, Barb, retired, and I ended up being 7 because they had a little, what they call an amuse-bouche at the beginning, which is a little, something the chef will bring out to kind of get your taste buds going. And then we had 5 courses, and then they had dessert at the end of it. Unstable. Thought maybe it was me. But anyway.
You're dropping out for some reason.
Probably because I'm here in the basement. I need to get a new router, I think. But we do have another joke. Let's see. This one says, "What does a Kentucky attorney say to a West Virginia attorney the first time they meet? Would you like fries with that?"
That's a good
one. Okay, enough of the bad jokes here. But actually, Paul's just rolling with them here. So.
Yeah. I can't see them, so I had to take what he shares.
Okay, well, anyway. He says my face is washed out. That's probably due to the lighting. I've got to adjust it. I haven't been able to do that yet.
So how's Barb enjoying the retirement?
She right now feels guilty. She's having survivor's guilt, I think. She yesterday was really bad because she kept saying, "I feel so guilty that I'm not going to work." And I said, "You're retired. You're not supposed to go to work. Don't feel bad." But I think it's going to take a little while. She was more normal today, and but that's pretty different there.
Yeah, well, you and I share the same thing. As my wife Ruby retired this year, so after 34 years, and so.
Well, I fortunately had I guess the way to put it was kind of a slower change there, because I worked, every day for close to 26 years in the downtown Denver area. So I did this commute every day, and then at one point I just decided enough is enough. I wanted to, kind of start my own business, do consulting, do all the rest of that stuff, and did it. And so I went from one work environment, which required a lot of driving and everything else, to another work environment that I commuted, literally from downstairs to upstairs. And it's kind of nice. Paul says his best times when he retired, but his wife was still working. He says, all that time to myself.
Okay, you've frozen on my end and just not hearing you. I don't know. I may be doing that too.
Hey, we just lost it, didn't we?
Yeah. You were really warbling, then dropped out, then froze, and So I may have been doing the same too. It could be on my end. I don't know.
No, I'm betting it's because literally behind this brick wall is actually a concrete wall, and I'm betting I'm going to have to look at getting some sort of range extender to get a little bit better signal down here. So if anybody has any great ideas for range extenders, let me know.
You know, have you ever, I keep mentioning the Google products, but have you considered looking at the Google Home? It's 3 little routers that use mesh networking, and it's supposed to cover
Yeah,
4,500 square feet.
yeah. One I hear a lot about is Eero too, EERO. I hear a
Mm-hmm.
lot about that one. And it's kind of a mesh. You know, Paul saying mesh. Yeah, a lot of the mesh systems seem to be working well. Let me see if I can find that
You know,
Eero.
yeah, Apple is one of the few phones, iPhone is, that supports mesh networking between the phones. And if
Yeah,
anyone listening is not familiar with mesh networking, you have 4 or 5 people together. You can actually network all your phones together without a router. It's pretty amazing, really.
let's see here. Yeah, Eero. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Well, I'll have to see if they've got anything coming up for. Excuse me. See if they had anything coming up for Black Friday, but it doesn't look like it. Boy, is that expensive. But you can pay with Apple Pay.
How much are they?
Well, they have one for 2 to 4 bedroom homes, which is 1 base station and 2 beacons, which would be, basically like repeaters. One for the Pro Wi-Fi system is $499. So yeah, I'd say it's a little expensive.
Yeah, I think the Google Mesh one's only $299 for 3. They all serve the same purpose. There's no base or repeater. They all do the same thing. Then you can add 2 if you want to.
Google Home. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. Well, I may have to look at that too. Oh boy, I tell you, it's tough. It really is tough being a really poor. Gotta have good tech, and sometimes it's just too freaking expensive. So, sad, truly sad. So,
You might ask some of our viewers when you dropped out if they were seeing you drop out. Was I dropping out or what?
I'm betting it
Of
was
course,
just me because you usually have a really, really steady and stable uh, connection. And like I said, I'm down in my basement, so it's too bad I didn't run
for our,
Ethernet down here.
yeah. Yeah, I have a wired connection. I've got Cat 6 all over the house.
God, and we've got 2 cats. That was a joke.
Yeah.
A very bad joke. Yeah, and Paul says it was just me who was warbling and dropping out. So at least
Well,
we
tell him,
know.
well, he'll hear me. I appreciate the feedback because I didn't know if to start troubleshooting here or if it was there. For
It's
those,
me.
even though we are rural Kentucky, you well know, very close to us, our neighbors have 1 gig fiber, and we are scheduled to get it. It's not here yet, but they're rolling it out.
Yeah, Paul says it should be easy to run a line to the basement, and actually it is. So I guess that's a project I do over the Thanksgiving holiday here.
Tell you what, I've had good luck with. If you want to run something, make it look neat and not have to do a lot of installing, get that flat Cat 6. It will fit under baseboard or carpet and totally hidden, and it's usually good enough for, relatively short runs.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be all that far. I mean, we're just going down 1 floor, and I'm trying to think exactly how far that is. Probably about 25 feet. It's
Oh
not too
yeah,
bad. So,
no, it's not at all. I try to avoid any wireless that I can whatsoever. Certainly with my main computer
so
and try to have everything wired.
Breaking up again. And it's not working.
Yeah, you should have seen the look on your face when it was frozen. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finally started moving again. I was going to comment to Paul, that's actually a virtual backdrop. That's just a photo. I have the old green screen back there, so which is why my sideburns are green. Maybe I should dye them
Yeah.
for Christmas or something.
I thought it was for Christmas. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I should have had one green, one red. Would have been perfect.
One other little Apple.
You can.
Well, I was going to comment. I wonder if it's selling out for the holiday. You know my epic tale of I had an Apple TV, returned it, and bought it again. And so I just check the Apple Store app periodically. I notice I've still got it. I'm keeping it. I really enjoy it. But I notice our local store, they're not in stock again until next year. I think January 4th.
I have completely lost that, oddly enough.
It was good.
It is breaking up. No. So I wonder if everybody heard you, but me. Did you guys hear him? Now we're going to see what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started talking, and it was like, then all of a sudden you just went. Oh, according to Paul Gans, he's saying that I should use lemon juice mixed with coconut oil on this, which will bring it back to my original hair color. I don't think I want to do that. See, you can get all the hints on this show.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
AWT TV.
I'll repeat again real quick. I'll make it brief. I rebought the Apple TV, and I'm glad I did. Use it every day. So I checked online. It's out of stock at the store until January 4th.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was surprised. They're that back ordered. I have a
feeling
that's
actually good to hear.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a big Christmas gift for people. It's in a price range that people will purchase, $179 to $200. And I have a feeling it's really been snatched up because of that.
Yeah, I'm almost curious if Apple will do some Black Friday deals on things like that. Maybe that's what they're doing, is taking them off the shelves right now. And Paul says he wants a 4K TV this year. If you get one, you can buy me one too, buddy. Yeah. I'm kind of having the perfect storm of all sorts of expenditures. I just got, and actually just got it working before the show here, but I think I mentioned I went out and purchased one of the first GoPro Fusion 3D or not 3D 360 cameras, VR cameras, and I had a heck of a time getting that stupid thing charged up. And I don't know what was going on, but I finally got it charged up. Finally did the firmware update. And tomorrow, I'm hoping I can actually do some pictures of it. So that'll be a good thing to review. Of course, it uses GoPro's iOS app to control the camera and do some things. Paul says he was waiting for the Apple HomePod, but not getting it this Christmas.
Nope, it's not going to come.
That is a sad, sad thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't say that the iMac Pro is going to be delayed.
Yeah, we sure haven't heard anything about that. They still have the little word on there. If you want to be notified, just click here.
Yeah, I've done that because, I am giving serious thought to purchasing it. I'm debating, but the Mac Pro is supposed to be out next year, but there'll probably be a standalone unit where you do all your other things. And maybe I should wait and see what that offers. And
it may actually be less expensive there. Let's see. Oh, Richard is commenting. They're talking about 4K TVs in the chat room. He says Vizio M series is very accurate. And
that's exactly what I've got here. A Vizio. Mine may be the E series. It's not a smart TV per se. It's just as a display, and you just send your Apple TV right to it. But I have really enjoyed that. A great picture. And the 4K is, well, it is stunning.
Things here is this is Mary. This is our other cat, and I think she's the problem here. She's soaking up all the Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
But at least they're being quiet tonight. That's one good thing about me being down here. Well, anyway, at least I've got a technical issue that I get to resolve in the next week or so, so we don't have this problem again. And man, I tell you about the warbling and dropping offline there, but yeah, can't always get what you want. But if you try, sometimes you might get what you need.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Well, you can tell that it really was kind of a slow news week in the Apple world, because we've gone all over the map here tonight. Do you have any apps you were going to demo tonight, or anything good?
Nothing much. I was going to just comment. A new app came out today, the second in the Nintendo app line, the first being Mario Run. And so there's a new one. It's supposed to come out November 22nd, which is tomorrow, but they did it a day early. So let me see if I can broadcast my phone. It's a game for really young children. If you have young children or grandchildren, it might be something that will entertain them on the long trips here. Let me pull up my phone here. And I thought I'd a couple little things. I've got to tell my phone to trust the computer. Hang on. I didn't know it wasn't trusting it. In the meantime, I've lost it. So
no.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Well,
Live TV here.
Yeah, I had to laugh at the cat Mary that you just saw there. She's been wandering around our basement. She's picking up like every bit of dust, and this is a very dusty basement. So our black cat may turn gray here very quickly.
All right, let me see if I can get the phone coming over to broadcast. There we go. It's wanting to. Now I've got a screen share. A lot of hoops to jump through. Well, I'll go ahead and broadcast. Okay. This is, of course, probably the most popular of down here at the bottom middle is Mario Run. That came out last year. It's extremely popular. Well, Nintendo came out with their second game today ever that they put on. It's called Pocket Camp Animal Crossing. And it's a very basic game. Okay, you're still there. Am I still broadcasting?
Yeah, you have been broadcasting. I locked up and went to heck.
All right.
Really good things about Zoom, by the way. So
yeah, you're right. All right, this game is called Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and it really is for young people. It's 4 years and up, and a very basic game. You create, like so many games, an avatar, and yeah, I made this little guy earlier, and you just go around, and the first person I met I had to talk to was this dog creature, and he told me he wanted an apple. Now, it says it's for 4 years old and upward. My wife has taught elementary school for ages. You had to be able to read to play this game, because when the creatures talk, they do it. You remember how Charlie Brown's teacher would sound on those shows? Wah, wah, wah. It's, it's worse than that. You could never hear it. And so anyway, like this little dog wanted me to go over and find an apple for him and do things like this. So it's just you collect things, turn them in, build up things. It's absolutely free, but it's definitely for very young kids. Now, like that dog just told me he wanted a crisp red apple. So I'll, you go and just tells you how to do it. And I look for an apple tree. And so right here, well, I shake the tree. That's a cherry tree. So that's not what he wants. I go over and do the apple tree. As you can see, it's pretty neat graphics, definitely for very young children. But if you have someone probably 4 to 5 years old, I think this is going to be a very good game. So what I was going to do now in just a very few minutes we have is some things that might be entertaining for you or others just in the game category on long trips. If you're still into Angry Birds, they had an update just today. And of course, it's upside down. There we go.
There
And yeah, Angry Birds still updates. I bought it years ago, and I'm pretty much a completionist. And my wife was always doing this. Everything 3 stars. I can't continue until I get 3 stars. But they just updated today this called Jurassic Pork. And it's set in the ages of dinosaurs. And it's actually very fun. And so I just basically showing you what it looks like. It's set back. You see some pterodactyls flying back in the area and everything. So if you're halfway interested in Angry Birds at all, they just have updated. So I thought, one, of course, I do live out on a farm. And this was called Piggy Farm.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you shoot birds at pigs?
No, I don't. Used to, I don't. We live in, of course, a very rural area, many hunters. I think we had a deer hunter on the farm today, my nephew. So heard shots this morning. So we live in a very agrarian society here. It looks like a John Deere tractor, and you try to destroy the various things. I'm trying to play and broadcast at the same time. So I thought I would just mention there's quite a few if you're going to be having young ones traveling with you. Some pretty good games to play. One I'm not really quite ready to demo, but it's a new game called Flower, and we had talked about this. Yeah, this game is really neat. I'll give a demo of that, and I'll make it my last thing tonight. And I think there's actually 6 levels that you can do. It is super simple. You start out as a flower in a very impoverished, rundown looking city. You tap on it. And what the basic gist is, I guess it's wanting me to tilt to get started here. And all right, touch and hold. I'll do that. So what I had read on the site, this flower is a wilted plant. It's not broadcasting, is it? It's showing a video. So give it just a moment here.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that's, yeah, a lot of these can't, can't show video and broadcast it. So.
Give me just a moment here when this video is passed, and you'll see what the premise of the game is. This is a very unique game. Hopefully I'll be able to show it. If not, I'll broadcast later on. All right, there we go. Now you can see that, right?
Yeah.
So what the premise is, this flower is a wilted little flower living in a big city, cars rushing by. And what's happening now, the flower is dreaming. And so it's super simple, the commands. You just tilt your phone left and right to move, touch a screen anywhere to fly. You start out as one petal, and you just fly around collecting other petals. And it's really actually pretty neat.
This looks so relaxing.
Well, it's meant to be just a relaxing game. You fly around. Let me see if I can get some other petals here. And fly towards some other flowers. You just simply tilt to move. Okay, there's a bunch of flowers. And you just you tilt to steer, and the screen's upside down. That's why I'm having a little bit of trouble here. and up or down, and you just hold to go forward. I'm trying to get over to these other flowers over here. Sometimes you can go pretty fast. And I think there's 6 worlds that you can go in. And I'm not doing too good because I'm having to play upside down on the screen. Let me look at the phone's upside down. If you'll watch, I'll go across these flowers here. And as soon as I do, they join me. Now watch when I click on them. And it's got some neat sounds. Now we're 3.
Oh, cool.
And I pick up these others. And I see an area that's pretty brown. And whenever I pick up the flowers, it'll turn nice and green. Let me just see if I can go over here to this area. I'm sure you can see on the broadcast the grass is waving and some very nice graphics here. I'll say this, your phone will get pretty warm playing this. This is pretty Now, there's no way you all can tell this, but the game actually uses haptic feedback. Every time I pick up a petal, it vibrates a little jar. I'm trying to pick up these flowers. It'll turn this green, but that's basically it. You fly. I think you have to clear them all, and then you get to go to the next level. And that's basically, it's just a very relaxing game. My wife, we're on family sharing, and she had commented she didn't even want to put it down. It was just very relaxing to play. And all right, here's an area where I can get a bunch of flowers. And we all just join together.
This is fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty neat looking, isn't it? It's very pretty. So I was trying to find one of the brown areas where that I can turn it all green. And this is the same group that they're coming out with an Apple TV only game called Sky that was demoed at Apple's event. Let me just go up to these rocks here and try to get up there. So anyway, I don't remember how much this was. I think about $5. And so wants me to return to the game. So anyway, that's basically it. So that's my demo for tonight. Just a few games to maybe keep you relaxed.
One question I was going to ask, does the flower that's dreaming ever get a better life, or he's just kind of...
Well, I don't want to ruin that for you.
Okay.
Because I haven't completed the game yet myself. I don't know. But
it was kind of a depressing place where he was living. So.
Yeah, that's what I read. The actual gameplay is the flower dreaming of green fields and friends. So it's really a neat concept. It's just simply called Flower. So I know a lot of our viewers might be a little bit older and not as interested in gaming, but I think it's sort of fun to get some of these. So.
Yeah, and also I'm getting. Whoops. Yeah, I've got a unstable internet connection. Well, I tell you, we've gone our full hour here. Thanks for the demo of that game, because now I've got to buy it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I think it's $5. I'm not for sure. But did you and Barb ever start doing the family sharing plan yet?
Not yet.
It's a great thing, especially with Apple Music. And so that's something you need to
we still
consider.
haven't done Apple Music either, but I don't know. It's either that or maybe I can, now that she's retired, I can put her to work, still going in and grabbing all of our old CDs and ripping them, but I don't think she'd want to do that. So.
I was going to say that Flower game is one of the only games, I don't see it right here, I think it's included in the Smithsonian Museum of games. So
yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I can't. It's editor's choice, and once you buy a game, you cannot see the price. It doesn't show the price anymore.
Well, so. I could look here. Let me look my screen. Doing this. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let's see. I'm having a heck of a night here, I tell you. Okay, here we go. Search. And it's Flower, right?
Just simply Flower.
and I disappeared again. Anyway, it's $4.99. You are correct.
That's what I thought. Well, consider how often just a trip through McDonald's. You'll spend that and it's gone quickly. So,
And this doesn't give you any cholesterol or anything. So.
no, I'd rather pay a little bit more for a game and not have the in-ad, the in-game ads and the such like. Something what to talk about in a future episode. Most of probably our viewers are a little older. We definitely are. Do you remember the days when you'd buy a software package, something like Lotus or WordPerfect? It might be $300 or $400 or $500.
Yeah. Well, and it really just bugs the heck out of me when you see the quality of some of the apps that are out there right now. And, well, for instance, I think about, some of the online services that you can use for free, cloud service, Google Sheets and Docs and the rest. And the entire is, it looks like I'm unstable again, but the entire iWork suite is free. And, it's just incredible when you consider, like you said, you used to spend $400 or $500 for a software package, and not anymore.
No, you didn't even know if it would do what you needed it to do either.
Yeah. Well, I can remember really early on, Lotus 123 was considered to be the big spreadsheet back in the early days before Excel came out. And Lotus, early on, they went through all this development. They came out with a package called Symphony, and I
remember it.
Yeah, it was kind of everything you could possibly do. It was word processing, spreadsheets, database, blah 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 blah, and it came out for the Mac first, and it was horrible. It was slow. You had to that was back in the days of floppies, and you were just constantly shoving floppies in, and then it would say, "Oh, I need this piece of code." It's on disk 7, so it'd pop out the disk, and you put another disk in, and it would sit there and crunch for a while.
Right.
Horrible app, and I just don't even want to talk about how much I spent on that package. Excuse me, for the Mac. Symphony was for Windows, but it was horribly expensive and really just a horrible app.
Yeah, I thought that'd be a fun thing to discuss maybe some night. Some of the old memories of software and what we paid for the applications.
Yeah. Yeah, those, I've got somewhere right down here in this basement area, I do have a pile of old Macworld and Mac User magazines, and maybe I can grab some of those, and we can quote some of the prices to people and see if they pass out when they hear about it.
Well, the Apple Lisa originally sold for $10,000, the computer, but I saw today wasn't working, sold for $50,000 at auction. So that would have been a good investment. So, but anyway. So I'll try to next week have another demo or two. That was a little impromptu, but hopefully people got a good idea.
Yeah, and I think next week I may try to see if I can do a demo. Adobe came out with their Lightroom. It's not their Lightroom CC Classic product, which was the former version of Adobe Lightroom, but they now have a new version that's pretty much entirely organized around the cloud. And I've been playing with it a little bit. That might be fun to do a little quickie demo of as well. And like you said, we can talk about, software prices in the 1980s. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have a demo or two for next week.
Sounds like a winner. And hopefully by then I'll have a much faster connection, and we won't have any dropouts like we did tonight. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the show, tonight was a little odd. Like I said, the constant breakup. That's due to change in venue for me. I'm down in my basement, and obviously I don't have real good Wi-Fi down here. But we will try to change that. And thank you very much again, Mr. Marty Edwards, for everything you've done. Always good to talk with you.
Yeah, I just sort of hang out.
Well, hanging out is what this show is about. Thank you, Richard and Paul, for being out there in the room tonight. Hopefully, Paul will be able to find his iPad Pro. It's not a good thing. He lost it. Misplaced it. That's the best way.
I hope he can. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody powers it up, turns it on, and then he can figure out where the heck it is. Good night, everybody. We'll see you same time next week. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you haven't already, and follow us, subscribe to us on good old YouTube. Have a good evening.